You're watching and listening to Mamma Mia! This is Fire Talk Footy Edition with Nicholas Fiore.
Welcome back, everybody, to Mamma Mia! This is Fire Talk. I'm your host, Nicholas Fiore. This is episode number 62, Footy Edition number 18. And I have Isaiah Johnston, former Woodbridge striker, who I know a lot of people, now me working for Woodbridge as well in League One, will know and love from the Woodbridge days. But Isaiah Johnston, the new signing for HFX Wanderers FC, midfielder for Halifax. Isaiah, I had your coach on not long ago. Last season, I had Daniel Clark, one of the draftees, goalkeepers within the CPL. So now it's your turn. It looks like Halifax is becoming my favorite CPL team without even having anyone else on. So why not? But Isaiah, appreciate you coming on, tuning in. I know preseason underway now, but appreciate you hopping on.
No, of course. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So as mentioned, Isaiah obviously, started is the semi-pro level with Woodbridge, who I'm calling games for now in the men and women's sides of League One Ontario Premier Division. So the league has changed a little bit since you've played in League One. There's promotion, there's relegation, and all that stuff too. We're going to get into all of that, obviously starting with Woodbridge. But before that, during that time, actually, you went to school for 1 year as well in Cape Breton. But before that, I want to talk about the youth. And the youth is you played with Georgetown, you played with Milton. I know back in my days, I played with Aurora, Brampton East, and a few other teams like Bolton and Caledon as well. What have you seen, if you've seen a lot, the difference from playing in the youth days when we were playing, into where it is now?
I would say there's two big things that I see now. One, I think I wouldn't use the word watered down, but I think that the level of youth is a little bit different because you have now a system in place and a good youth academy with TFC, with Whitecaps, with Montreal Impact, now with York United Academy coming in. So you're starting to see, the best players from the Woodbridges, the Vaughns, the Sigmas, some of the top teams back in the day that were producing players to go pro are now sending kids to TFC Academy, and TFC's trying to do their best to scout these kids pretty young to go. So I would say that's one of the biggest things. When I maybe 11 or 12, I think pre-academy was just starting for TFC, which is 12, 13 years ago. And then I would think that the other thing is the knowledge of coaches now. I think a lot more coaches are knowledgeable. I think my dad was a coach, or just parents were kind of coaching volunteer through my younger youth days. But I think now you have very knowledgeable coaches that are taking kids from 5, 6, 7, 8, and really teaching them the game and giving them a lot of ball knowledge. So I think those are the two biggest differences from when I was growing up.
I agree. 2019, you went to university. 1 year, we're going to touch upon that as well, with Cape Breton, a bronze medal in the Nationals. They've had a few good years, actually, these last couple of years. Cape Breton winning their league, winning the OUA as well. Rookie of the year, all rookie team. What did you take from your university experience in Cape Breton to then propel you in deciding to go pro?
Yeah, so I think something that was also pretty big back when I went to school, obviously it was the first year of the CPL. So you had a lot of guys that, anyways, from my year when I was at Cape Breton, I had a lot of guys that came through European academies, or Canadian guys that maybe should have went pro or could have went pro, or D1, but maybe didn't have the grades, didn't have the exposure, didn't have the opportunity. So when I was there, I had a lot of guys that played high-level youth football overseas. And so when I went there, never playing in a professional environment at the time, I got acclimated to training almost every day, and the standard that you're supposed to train at every day. You can't take a day off. You have to be on it from moment one. There's times to joke, but has to be seriousness when you're on the field. So I think the standard of training, how to train, how to maintain your body and things like that was probably the biggest takeaway that I had when I was at Cape Breton. Um, I was 17 at the time, and a lot of my teammates were 21, 22. And I think out of the year before me and the year I was there, I think there was 6 people in the draft the first year and 4 or 5 of us in the draft the year I was there. So it was a high level group that I was playing with.
What did you take from your college experience? It's like a little two-parter here, and that propelled you into going pro. And I want to ask, why the decision in only 1 year of school, obviously playing with Woodbridge, and you decided, I think it's time for me to go professional?
Yeah, I think my development from before going to school to after school was a decent amount. I think I started to understand the game a little bit more, being around some older guys who've, like I said, played at high levels. And then the decision to go pro for me and was kind of a forced premature decision. So when I got drafted, um, I was gonna go back to school and continue to develop. COVID hit the year that I got drafted, and there was actually no youth sports season that year. Youth sports was going to be um, postponed, and it was either take a year off football or try to go pro and work my way in. Even maybe if I wasn't ready, if I was kind of getting thrown into the deep end a little bit, but yeah, I got lucky with a 2 year deal. So even though I was kind of thrown to the deep end, I had some time in my first year to learn from some very experienced pros and players, and yeah, it was the best decision I've ever made.
Think playing League One Ontario set you up to play, which eventually is your first contract with York United, York 9 at the time, for the CPL?
Yeah, 100%. Same thing. I think I got very lucky throughout my teenage years, I guess, to late teenage years, to be with Woodbridge, and some of the players that I played with at Woodbridge were also very, very high level. Um, the 2 years I was there for full seasons, we went to the finals both times. Um, a lot of guys went pro or could have went pro or played at high level academies, and just being 16, 15, 17 years old, playing with men at that age and getting used to faster speeds of play, and like being very strict in training and demanding more of me. It 100% prepped me to get to pro level. And I actually got my first look with York 9 at the time through Woodbridge, and how I got lucky enough to go on preseason with them in 2019 and become, kind of a training player every day. So League One was very crucial for me to go pro.
2017 to 2019 with Woodbridge, 24 apps, 2 goals, and then signing your first pro contract 2020 to 2022 with York 9, obviously now called York United, in the CPL, 47 apps, 3 goals in that, in that time frame with York. You were drafted as well in 2019. Talk about that feeling on being drafted in July of 2020 for York 9 FC at the time.
No, it was yeah, it was an unbelievable feeling. I trained, like I said, I trained with the club up until I went to university, and we spoke a little bit about, it's not going to be just given to me to be one of their draft picks. I have to go and perform at school and do well. And actually, I think we played 12 regular season games, and I got injured after the eighth one, so I missed 4 games towards the end. So I was a little bit nervous, and I was able to come back for playoffs, play playoffs, and then obviously play nationals. And yeah, when I got the kind of the call and see my name on the screen that I got drafted, and being, I think at the time, the youngest draft pick ever, it was a good feeling, and kind of, that going to school paid off, and yeah, it was just a good feeling.
Well, you said you had to earn it, right? It wasn't given, and not a lot of things are given in life anymore.
Yeah,
And not football, right?
yeah, yeah.
2021, you worked your tail off. You had a breakout year. You ended up starting. then finishing in top 27 of players in the CPL. Was that year the year where you were like, okay, I can really like improve, get better, and maybe go, abroad or even further out?
Yeah, I think 2021, I guess this off season from 2020 to 2021, I worked really, really hard with a personal trainer multiple times a week, even though COVID was going on, and just trying to be fit and try to be better and take the things that I learned from the experienced players in 2020. And after 2021, having a good season, having some conversations, getting my extension and kind of being recognized throughout the league. I remember sitting down, I kind of talked with my parents a lot about football. And, I said, I think, making that decision to leave school and stuff, it feels like it's really paying off and it was a good decision. And maybe, if I continue to develop, continue to work hard throughout seasons and off seasons, who knows where this could take me. And what is this, 4 years later? It's taken me quite a few places. So,
Hey, you can't get anywhere if you don't take a risk here or there, right? And that's
that's
a guy
it.
that is not really a risk taker in life in general.
Yeah.
But man, you gotta take a risk here or there. And at the end of the day, your parents, your family probably were like, "Well, Isaiah, this is probably a risk, but if you put in the hard work and you manifest it, I do believe in that. The risk is good. The risks will pay off." Which clearly, I mean, we're going to get into the couple other teams as well. At the end of the day, at what are you now? 24 years old. You're
23, yeah.
23, turning 24. You're a professional football player, and
Yeah.
a lot of people can say that from Mississauga, Ontario, right?
Yes.
From Canada. So it's
100%.
getting a bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? I guess a little bit more advantageous now as we see the national team and Tejan Buchanan with Inter on loan now to Villarreal, and Kyle Laren and Osorio with TFC and Jonathan David. It's getting more, known that Canadians are there. But
Yeah.
to take a risk, though, is a big one, and it's paying off. And I want to talk about when it paid off, and I want to play a little thing called the date game. I do dates on here, and I want to see if you remember what happened on that certain date. July 24th, 2021.
I think it was my first goal against Edmonton.
First goal for York against FC Edmonton. Exactly.
Yeah.
What was that feeling, and what was the celebration? Was it crazy or was it a little low key?
It was probably like a top 5 feeling ever. For a couple of reasons. One, we were in, I think, second last before the game, and a win would have put us in 5th place at the time, 2 points behind a playoff spot. A tie would have put us in 6th, and I think a loss would have put us in 7th. So it kept us in 7th or second last. And I remember speaking to the gaffer at the time, Jimmy Brennan, right before the game. And he kind of came up to me saying, "Look, I need a big performance from you today." And I kind of said, "Look, gaffer, I got you. I'm going to score a goal for you today." And I remember scoring, and the first thing in my head was like, go celebrate with Jimmy and kind of go give him the "I told you so." So I remember scoring and just kind of running straight to him and jumping and celebrating, giving him a hug and celebrating with him and the team. And I think it kind of capped off a good bubble series for me, and kind of was the moment where it's like I belong. I belong in the CPL, and I belong to belong to call myself a professional soccer player. So
Jimmy Brennan, a Canadian legend in its own rights. I mean, I was even coached by him when I was playing League One with Aurora back in the day. It feels like now for me. Oh my God! But that's you always love when a coach and the manager, gaffer, whatever word you want to use, that comes to you and says, even I do it with my youth boys now, Brampton Soccer Club U13 boys as a coach, and I go, "Listen, I need a big one from you today," and it comes and it happens, right? It's just the feeling that the manager gives the player, and then they perform and produce. It's second to none.
Yeah,
which is definitely what you did, and you said, "No problem, gaffer. I'm getting the job done, Jimmy. I'm getting
yeah.
And it happens. So that's always great. After York United, we decided to get out of the country, get out of maybe more of your comfort zone a little bit more, and you went to Huntsville City, MLS Next Pro team, 23-24 campaigns, 33 apps, 3 goals. Why the move? in my opinion, at the time, the MLS Next Pro is actually gaining traction, and you were their first ever signing also. Was that a little bit of a cool little factor? Like, well, I can be the first ever player to sign for a brand new professional club, or why the move and why the attraction to go to the States, which is Nashville's affiliate team in the MLS?
No, yeah. For sure it was an attraction when they kind of posed it like, look, you're going to be our first ever signing. But I think like we said, risk, you have to take risks. And I think it was a risk for me to go to an MLS Next Pro side and try to prove myself there, to go to the MLS over trying to stay in the CPL and prove myself, continue to prove myself here. And, I think just at the time, the project that they had at Nashville and Huntsville, and how I was, it was kind of presented to me was a good one. They had a couple aging midfielders at Nashville. I would be the first ever signing. They kind of said, look, you guys are going to be in your own city. You guys are going to be the top team there. You guys are going to get, 4,000 or 5,000 fans a game, which we did. And yeah, they kind of just gave me a platform to try and, perform and break into the national team. And it didn't, pan out the way it was supposed to, but I mean, it's all about taking risks. And that was at the time for me, a risk I wanted to take, get out of my comfort zone, go to the stage and try to push myself, when I'm in direct MLS team's eyes all the time. And yeah, that's kind of the reason for that move.
March 26th versus Crown Legacy FC was your debut. And we talk about risks, but it's also the experience. You're out of the country. It's a new league, and it's a league where you can get scouted for the MLS at the end of the day, which is a big North American league, and you can see all these teams, what tournaments, continental-wise, intercontinental-wise, they're playing in now within the MLS. That experience has to go a long way into eventually where you want to go, correct?
100%. 100%. I 100% agree with you that experiences are very important as well. And I think in Huntsville, I got some very cool experiences. I was able to captain a side for the first, like a professional side for the first time ever. I was taken up from being a 21-year-old, kind of rookie, new to the CPL, kind of, maybe a leader in terms of play-wise, but not, in terms of kind of experience and where you've been, to coming to Huntsville and being, I think I was one of the players with the most professional appearances at the club at such a young age, and just wearing the captain's band and kind of guiding some of the younger players who were 15, 16, 17, and experiences with players, different types of players, training with the first team. Like, it was just all a very good experience. And I think I don't regret it at all. I needed those experiences. I mean, I trained with the likes of Hani Mukhtar, who's a MLS MVP, Dax McCarty, who's an all-star, Walker Zimmerman. I mean, so it was a very good experience, and I enjoyed it.
May 12th of that season, what happened that day?
May 12th. I feel like I scored a penalty against Chicago Fire.
Chicago Fire, first goal for Huntsville. Chicago Fire 2.
Yeah.
The PK goes in. What was that feeling like? Just your first pro goal, I guess, kind of out of the country.
Yeah, no, it was nice. I mean, it was a long off season. I remember I got sick. Preseason. Sorry, it was a long preseason. I remember I got sick in preseason, missed about 10 days with a flu. So I had to work my way back to game fitness and back in with the team, and then to just kind of get my first start, my first goal, or my second start. I think in my first goal, it was just nice to kind of establish myself as a player on the team and an important player. So it was good. It was a great feeling.
2024, you moved to, if I'm saying this correctly, Loudoun?
Loudoun, correct. Yes.
Loudoun United in the USL Championship. My friend right now, Kwame Awua's currently there. I know you know Kwame well.
Yeah.
So Kwame's still there right now. He was on the show also. 14 appearances, 1 goal in your time. So technically, the USL Championship is at a higher level than the MLS Next Pro. So clearly I understand the move and the decision as to why. Was that the reasoning, just to continue to develop, continue to go to the levels higher and higher to try to break into the MLS?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I just feel that going back to play with men was the right decision for me. I think at the time, the Huntsville group we had was a good group, a talented group, but a very inexperienced group. And we were last place. And when the opportunity came to get transferred out to Loudoun to play with men, to play with in a different type of system, more possession based, kind of fits me a little bit, or where I see myself a little bit more, and to be again in men and with experienced players again, back to being maybe going from a leadership role to more of a learner role again. I just felt like it was the right time for me to make that move and once again try another league and take that step up and see what could happen from there.
Joined, as mentioned, June 2024. But what happened on June 29th, 2024?
I would have been my debut against Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Debut against Tampa Bay. What was that feeling like? Because I guess arguably at the time, if not still, U.S. Championship. Well, I guess not still, because U.S. Championship would have been the highest leagues. Even though CPL was obviously a professional league in Canada, but slowly getting established. So how did that feel to make the debut there?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, when I came, the team was on an 8-game unbeaten streak. And Tampa Bay is a very well-known, I think they were second place at the time or third place, and we were up 3-0 from an unbelievable performance from the team, and to just come on and be a part of that win and just be a part of the win streak and stuff like that and be welcomed. It was a good feeling. It was nice. My parents were there, so my girlfriend was there, so it was good.
It's always amazing when you got the family support, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the key behind it as well. Halifax now, obviously, you're back in the CPL. The league is a lot more developed, a lot more established. We see Forge playing Monterrey. We see Calvary defeating Pumas. Like, that is massive. And those are massive things for the league, even though, yes, you're a part of Halifax Wanderers, but you can see where it's going. Were you ever thinking maybe staying with Loudoun? Were you going to maybe move elsewhere within the United States? Or was Canada and the CPL, and I guess why specifically Halifax, was the right move, you think, for you at this time?
So I definitely think it was the right move for me at the time. I was obviously contracted to be with Loudoun for this season. For me personally and my journey, my career, I just don't think that being at Loudoun right now was the most beneficial for me. I think being back home in Canada, in the CPL, with Patrice, with Halifax, was the right move for me. One, I think I'm at the point where I need to be playing consistent minutes. And I feel like at Loudoun, it was a very rotational squad. Some games you're in, some games you're out. Especially when you're a team that's never made playoffs and you're always fighting for that playoff spot. One game you could play, one game you can't play. Maybe 2 games you do well, the team does well, then you lose one, and we're trying to switch things up. So for me, I just thought it was the right time to come home, be in Canada, be in a league that I know, a league I've done well in, and with a coach I know. So.
Yeah, Coach Patrice, I mean, we had him on one of the 2 episodes ago, the recent episode of episode 60 of the show, and he's excited. And Coach Patrice, he knows what he's doing. I mean, he's been with Vaughan, which is funny enough, right? You played with Woodbridge, and then he's been with Vaughan for, 10-plus years, and obviously both at Halifax now. Why the attraction of getting taught by a gaffer like Patrice Geyser? Because when I spoke to him, there's tons of wisdom. There's tons of knowledge. Yes, people will say, well, you have to have it if you're a professional soccer coach. You do, but it depends how it comes off and what motivation factors as well involved in that with that attracts to the players and the team. How important is it to have a gaffer like that learning and leaning on him to hopefully be successful this year and beyond?
Yeah, well, I think like two things kind of drew me to Patrice and to working with him. One were the players that have played for him that he's directly worked with, and to see where they've ended up now. Kamal Miller, Dane St. Clair, Ryan Raposo. You have, and the list can go on. Isaiah Johnston, and these guys are all playing high level, playing within our national team, and they really respect him. And then two was to when we got on our call to hear like directly his knowledge, what he thinks of me, where he thinks I need to improve, what he thinks I do well, and then to watch Halifax play over the last 2 years. They may have not finished where they thought they should, but the style of football and the tactics behind the football that we play here is one of the best in the league, for sure. One of the best I've played for in my time as a pro, and it really, really was a place and a tactical environment that I think I would do well in, and I wanted to play for him.
So then my lead up question would be, what are you most excited for about this season? And what is, the team goals and your personal goal for the 25 CPL campaign?
Yeah, I think I'm super excited to play at the Wanderers grounds. I mean, playing as the away team was always fun. But to have them kind of on my side this time, cheering for me and not booing me if the team scores, will be a nice one. And then I think just in terms of team goals, I think with some of the pieces we have that we've retained, the pieces that we've got, I think we're a team that can compete for a championship. I truly believe that, and I know that that's the feeling around the locker room. We're not here to hang on to a fifth and final playoff spot. We're not here to kind of battle. We want to be in the conversation. We want to win games. We want to win championships and trophies. So that's 100% a team goal for me. I just want to continue to develop and help the team in whatever way I can. I want to be on the field and competing week in and week out to win games. And that's kind of all I can ask for.
Your first goal with the team. I want you to really do this. You can't, because it means other things.
Yeah, of course.
It means other things. But
Yeah.
I know that I'm sure that goal will be coming in no time. I want to ask you one more thing to all the youngsters playing at the Woodbridge Strikers Soccer Club right now. Technically, I mean, other than youth footy, you started there, right? 2017, you started with Woodbridge, and you started with League One Ontario. And they recognize it, of course, and you see on the socials that Woodbridge still posts you, of course, here or there, which they should. Semi-pro level by all means, but that's where the start, happened, and that's where it kicked off. So what can you say to all the youngsters playing in U8 to U18 at Woodbridge, and obviously that's currently in League One that I'm broadcasting for right now, to see, look where I started, Saga man, played for Woodbridge, and now I'm a professional.
Yeah, I mean, just work hard every day. I think work hard and be coachable. Be willing to learn, whether that's by your teammate who's a little bit better than you, whether that's by your coaching staff, whether that's by a coach that's walking by. Just be willing to listen and make sure you work hard every day. I mean, nothing is going to happen. Like we said earlier, nothing is given to you. Everything has to be earned. You have to work hard. To make your League One debut, you need to work hard. To be on the League One team, you need to work hard. To get a scholarship, you need to work hard. And to become a pro, you need to work even harder. So, I mean, treat every single day like it might be your last day on the pitch and just continue to work hard. It sounds so cliche, but it's truly what makes the difference on players that make it pro. And then not only when you make it pro, but to stay as a pro. To stay, a lot of people can say, maybe I played pro for a year, but to continue to be pro, you need to work hard. And to make it pro, you need to work just as hard. So that'd be my biggest message to them. And if I could do it, I wasn't anything special at 15, 16, 17 years old. I just really wanted to play football. And so if I can do it, you can generally do it. And you're exactly where I am now. So continue to work hard, and you never know where this game will take you.
Never know. Remember, you got to have great work ethic. What I use is work hard, stay humble. So,
100%.
stay humble.
100%.
Get into talking. All the best. You never know what can
For sure. For sure.
End it off, Isaiah. I want to do some rapid fire with Isaiah, if that's cool with you.
Sounds good.
So, favorite place traveled in your football career so far?
Oh, wow. Netherlands. I went there on a trial when I was 15.
There you go. Favorite pregame song?
Oh, I don't have one.
No, who's the artist? Is it what side are you on? Kendrick or Drake? Wait, don't answer that.
Come on. Drake, of course.
Gotta be Drake.
Always Drake. Always Drake.
All right. Favorite movie?
We'll do Shutter Island.
Favorite TV show?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is always a good one.
Top notch. Top notch. And favorite pregame meal?
Always pasta and chicken breast.
But it's got to be got to be baked. No breaded. It's got to be healthy, right?
No breaded. It's got to be in the oven.
Chicken.
A little bit of seasoning.
That's it. Good to
That's
go.
it.
I
nice
guess
and clean, nice and light.
Nice and lean. That's it. I have one more for you, or a couple more for you. Funniest teammate you ever played with?
Oh man.
I know, tough, right?
I'm gonna say him because I've been close to him and I've been on 2 different teams with him. I'll say Chris Nivek.
Okay. And your favorite Woodbridge player in your 2 years with the Strikers for League One?
Josh Paredes-Proctor.
There he goes, and he's still playing.
He's still playing.
Still playing. You know, the futsal Spanish kings over there in the Woodbridge.
That's it. The ball roll never fails.
Nope, that's for sure. Listen, Isaiah, it's been a blast. I know preseason kicking off and the season starts in towards the end of April. But appreciate you coming on, joining. Hopefully we can do this down in the future when you're on the national team one day. How about that?
Yes, hopefully. That's the goal.
Okay. Listen, I appreciate you coming on, man, for real.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Everybody, this is Isaiah Johnston from the Halifax Wanderers FC in the Canadian Premier League. Just signed January 15th, 2025. And he's looking to make an impact with head coach Patrice Geyser and the HFX side. This was Mamma Mia. This is Fire Talk, episode number 62, Footy Edition, number 18. Merch available, Instagram lives coming, episodes coming, looks like now slowly on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and the show is kicking up in a high gear. This was sponsored by The Bottom Line, Toronto's classiest sports bar, downtown Toronto, and that's The Bottom Line, episode 62, Footy Edition, number 18. I'm Nicholas Fiore, the host of the show, alongside CPL Halifax man, Isaiah Johnston. Until next time, Mamma Mia, and ciao.
That was Mamma Mia. This is Fire Talk, Footy Edition with Nicholas Fiore. Thank you for watching and listening, and stay tuned for the next episode.